She posted a TikTok caption dating down builds character with me in the background. Her friends were commenting laughing emojis and "girl, you're so real for this." I didn't say a word, just packed my things and left that night. 2 weeks later, her best friend sent me a screenshot. She deleted every post and was asking if anyone had a way to reach me. I never thought I'd be on the receiving end of viral humiliation, but social media has a way of turning private moments into public spectacles and relationships into content. Mia and I met at a music festival 3 summers ago. I was doing freelance sound work for one of the smaller stages, and she was taking photos for a lifestyle blog. We got talking during a set change, exchanged numbers, and the rest was history. I was instantly drawn to her creativity, her energy, her ambition. She worked as a content creator for a fashion subscription service, styled photo shoots, and had a growing social media presence of her own. I'm a sound engineer for an indie recording studio, a job I love, but one that certainly doesn't come with fame or fortune. Despite our different worlds, we connected over shared tastes in music and food. 6 months into dating, we moved in together into her apartment, which made financial sense since she had a rent-controlled place in a good area of the city. I paid my share, but the lease remained in her name. Everything seemed perfect until the algorithm showed me something I was never meant to see. It was a random Wednesday. I was browsing TikTok during lunch break. I didn't follow Mia's account since her content was mainly fashion and lifestyle stuff that didn't interest me, but we supported each other's careers in other ways. She never pushed me to engage with her content, saying it wasn't my demographic anyway. But that day, a video appeared on my For You page, Mia in our apartment lip-syncing to some trending audio about settling. I initially smiled recognizing our living room until I noticed myself in the background, headphones on mixing a track at my desk. The caption hit me like a physical blow. Dating down builds character, #trust the process. For a moment, I thought it must be some joke I wasn't getting, but as I checked the comments, my stomach dropped. "Girl, you're so real for this." The way he has no idea. Invest in potential, but don't wait forever. And Mia's replies, each one worse than the last, gotta start somewhere. The apartment is mine anyway. He's sweet, but this isn't the final stop. I watched the video again. In the background, completely oblivious, I was nodding along to whatever track I was working on that day. She'd filmed this while I was in the same room, captioned it to belittle me, and shared it with her 67,000 followers. The comments kept coming. People I'd never met dissecting my appearance, my career, speculating about my income. Some of her friends I recognized by username, adding their own laughing emojis and supportive comments. I closed the app and sat there. My lunch forgotten. Everything suddenly made sense. Her reluctance to introduce me to new work contacts, the way she'd steer conversations away from my career at parties, her suggestions about more professional clothes, or finding a better paying job at a commercial studio. I wasn't her partner. I was her content, her charity case, her stepping stone. I didn't call her, didn't text, just returned to the studio and focused on the session I was engineering that afternoon. The artist was recording a breakup song. Ironically enough, I gave it everything I had, channeling my shock and hurt into creating the cleanest, most emotionally resonant mix possible. By the time I got home that evening, I'd made my decision. Mia was filming something in the living room, her ring light creating the perfect glow she carefully cultivated. She smiled when she saw me, paused her recording. "Hey. I'm almost done here. Thought we could order from that Thai place tonight." I nodded, walked past her to the bedroom. She didn't follow, just resumed talking to her phone like nothing was wrong. While she finished her content, I quietly packed a single suitcase. Just essentials, clothes, toiletries, important documents, and my laptop. I took nothing that could be considered ours. No photos, no mementos, nothing she'd purchased, or that we bought together. When I emerged with my suitcase, she was reviewing her footage, scrolling through filters. "Going somewhere?" she asked, barely looking up. "Yes." That got her attention. She glanced at the suitcase, brow furrowed. "What's going on?" I simply showed her my phone open to her TikTok, dating down builds character. Her expression shifted from confusion to recognition, to something approaching shame, but not quite reaching it. "That it's just content, babe. It's not serious." My followers eat that stuff up. She forced to laugh. It's just a persona I play online. The comments from your friends, those a persona too. She set her phone down, suddenly defensive. You're overreacting. Everyone exaggerates for social. It's not real life. It's real enough that you filmed me without my knowledge, mocked me to tens of thousands of people, and let your friends join in. I picked up my suitcase. If I'm holding you back from whatever level you think you should be dating at, I'll remove myself from the equation. Don't be dramatic. She stood now, annoyed. It's just a stupid video. You're going to throw away our relationship over this. Our relationship ended the moment you decided I was content rather than a partner. I headed for the door. I'll arrange to get the rest of my things later. Wait. Where are you going? We need to talk about this. This is my apartment too. Exactly. It's your apartment, as you pointed out in your comments. I'm sure you'll be fine without my portion of the rent. I turned back one last time. I hope the engagement was worth it. She called after me as I walked out. Her voice rising in panic as the reality sank in. I didn't answer. Just got in my car and drove to a friend's place where I'd arranged to crash until I figured out next steps. That night, my phone blew up with messages from Mia ranging from defensive. It was just a joke to angry. You're proving my point by being so sensitive to tearful apologies. Please come home. I'll delete it right now. I replied once I deserve better than to be someone's stepping stone or social media punchline. Please don't contact me again. Then I blocked her number. The next day at the studio, I threw myself into work. The owner, Hector, noticed something was off, but didn't pry. He just handed me our most challenging project, a vocalist with perfect pitch, but terrible timing, and said, "Thought you might want something to really focus on." I was grateful for the distraction and the implicit support. That evening, Mia's roommate from before we moved in together, Jasmine, messaged me. We'd always gotten along well, bonding over our shared love of underground hip-hop that Mia found too aggressive. Just checking you're okay. What Mia did was messed up. A bunch of us have called her out privately. I appreciated the gesture, but kept my response brief. I wasn't interested in turning her friends against her or creating more drama. I just wanted space to heal and move forward. 3 days after I left, something unexpected happened. The artist whose breakup song I'd engineered the day I discovered the TikTok posted a snippet on his Instagram, tagging me and the studio. It caught attention in our local music scene, not internet breaking viral, but industry noticed. By the end of the week, my professional Instagram followers had doubled, mostly local musicians and producers. Hector called me into his office the following Monday. "So that track is getting serious attention," he said, leaning back in his chair. "I've had calls from 3 indie labels asking who engineered it." I nodded, not sure where this was going. "Stonebridge Records wants to offer you a contract gig, 6 months, working with some of their new artists." My jaw dropped. Stonebridge was one of the most respected independent labels in the region. The kind of opportunity sound engineers in our city hoped for. "It's based out of Seattle," Hector continued. "I'd hate to lose you, but this is the kind of chance you don't pass up." I sat there stunned. A week ago, I'd been mocked online for my lack of potential in exactly this industry. Now I was being offered a significant step up. When would they need an answer? End of the week. They emailed over the details already. I spent the next few days carefully considering the offer, consulting with industry friends, negotiating terms. It was legitimate, solid, and potentially career-changing. By Friday, I'd accepted. That weekend, I arranged to collect the rest of my things from Mia's apartment while she was at a content creator meetup. A mutual friend supervised to ensure everything went smoothly. I took only what was indisputably mine, leaving even gifts she'd given me. As I was packing the last of my studio equipment, my friend looked uncomfortable. "You should know, Mia's been having a rough time. Her engagement dropped after she deleted the TikTok and a bunch of other posts with similar vibes. Some brand deals are on hold." I paused. "She deleted it?" "Yeah. And a bunch of others." Apparently, her followers called her out pretty hard once the initial wave of support died down. People started commenting that it was toxic and mean. Then a couple of larger creators stitched it using it as an example of relationship red flags. I hadn't sought revenge or public vindication. I'd simply removed myself from a situation where I wasn't respected. The rest had happened organically. The natural consequences of putting cruelty online for clout. I'm not celebrating her downfall, I said honestly. I just couldn't stay with someone who saw me that way. My friend nodded. For what it's worth, I think she genuinely regrets it. Not just the consequences, but what she did. Maybe that was true, but regret wasn't enough to rebuild the trust that had been shattered. 2 weeks after I'd left, as I was finalizing arrangements for my move to Seattle, I received a message from Jasmine with a screenshot attached. It was Mia's private Instagram story, a black background with white text reading, "Does anyone have a current way to contact Ray? It's important." Jasmine's message said, "Thought you should know she's looking for you. She found out about the Stonebridge deal from someone at the studio and has been telling everyone how she always believed in your potential. Just a heads up, in case she finds a way to reach out." I thanked Jasmine for the warning, but took no action. Mia's sudden renewed interest in me now that my career was taking off told me everything I needed to know about her character. 3 days before my planned move, Mia managed to reach me through a professional email address she found on the studio's website. "Ray, I need to talk to you. Please. I know I messed up badly, but you have to let me explain. I never meant to hurt you. It was stupid content for engagement. Not how I really felt. I'm so proud of your new opportunity. I always knew you were talented. Please give me a chance to make things right. I miss you. I love you." I sat with the email for a day before responding. "Mia, I wish you well in your career and life. What happened between us wasn't a misunderstanding or a joke taken wrong. It was a fundamental lack of respect. This new job doesn't validate me just as your TikTok didn't define me. I'm the same person I was before doing work. I'm proud of the differences. I now understand my worth better. Please don't contact me again." I moved to Seattle the following week. The Stonebridge gig was challenging, exhilarating, everything I'd hoped for professionally. I found a small but comfortable apartment, made new friends, and slowly began dating again, cautiously, with better boundaries. 6 months later, when my contract was extended and then made permanent, I allowed myself to reflect on how dramatically my life had changed because of a single TikTok. Occasionally, I'd hear updates about Mia through mutual connections. She'd pivoted her content toward authentic relationships and personal growth, posting apology videos and speaking about toxic internet culture. Ironically, gaining more followers than she'd had before. She never named me or referenced the specific incident, but those who knew. Recently, I engineered a track that's getting solid radio play in the Pacific Northwest. During a brief interview with a local music blog about the project, the writer asked if there was a defining moment in my career journey. There was a point where I had to decide what I valued more. External validation or internal integrity, I answered. Choosing integrity created space for everything else to fall into place. I didn't mention Mia, TikTok, or dating down. Those details weren't necessary. The lesson was what mattered. Sometimes the most powerful response to public humiliation isn't a grand gesture of revenge or a public call-out. It's simply removing yourself from the situation, focusing on your growth, and letting the universe handle the rest. I didn't need to tear Mia down to rise. Walking away with dignity intact was all the statement I needed to make. Update. Since this post gained traction, I want to clarify something. This isn't a story about career success validating someone's worth. I would have made the same decision to leave regardless of what happened professionally afterward. The timing of the new opportunity was coincidental, not some karmic reward. Real growth came from recognizing my own value wasn't dependent on someone else's perception or social media metrics. For those asking, yes, Mia eventually did apologize properly. A private, heartfelt message acknowledging the real hurt she caused with no excuses or attempts to reconcile. I appreciated that closure. We're not in contact, but I no longer harbor negative feelings. Life's too short. And honestly, that TikTok led me to where I needed to be, just not in the way either of us expected.